I've worked with the now Prime Minister when he was Chancellor. He listens. He knows what is needed. We need him to step up now to the plate and put those things in place so we can get through a tough couple of years and be ready to power the economy at the other end.
As if last week's forecast from the Bank of England for a prolonged recession were not enough, this morning there's warnings of an alarming drop of business confidence, and all that before next week's autumn statement. The warning comes from the British Chambers of Commerce, and their Director General Shevaun Haviland joins us now. Good morning, Shevaun.
Good morning.
Now, you business types are always gloomy, aren't you? You're always worried about the next crisis along the way.
We definitely are not gloomy as business types. We recognise very much the challenges in front of us. But what I find when I travel around the country meeting the members of the chambers is we are surrounded by businesses who have that, despite it all, can-do, entrepreneurial, we'll find a way through attitude. But what we're asking government to do is help us set the conditions so that we can use that spirit to get us through the next couple of years.
So what are the worries? Because there's clearly a loss of consumer confidence. We've seen that in surveys over the last few weeks, which obviously there's a feeling that a recession on its way, people are going to be spending less. Is that the primary concern?
It's one of the concerns. So if you remember over last summer, we saw increasing prices in raw materials, problems shipping, issues in getting people for your labour force, and now, of course, eye-wateringly high energy bills. And then added to that over the summer with the leadership battle and then the issues around the mini budget, the political instability has been a massive issue. So businesses are pleased that we are seeing what hopefully is some more political stability for a while. Confidence is, of course, low because they're concerned about the recession. So what we want to see is government put some things in place on the 17th of November to help businesses see that through so they're ready to power the economy at the other end.
And what are you looking for then? Because this is going to be a budget of austerity. There's plans afoot in the Times to say to cut £33 billion by 2027 and raise £21 billion from taxes. This is going to be a tough old budget. What would you like to see in it that might help business?
Yeah, it is. And, we also have to be realistic about about ideas that we can put forward that are cost-free growth. So 4 key things. Firstly, government keep investing in infrastructure. We know that local infrastructure build has a multiplier effect of supporting SMEs through the supply chain. I was at Hinkley Point Nuclear Power Station a couple of weeks ago. They employ 1,300 businesses in the southwest alone. So let's be careful about cutting too deeply on infrastructure, both digital and green. Second is energy support. So it's great we have the price cap until April, but what's going to happen for businesses after that? They're concerned about that. Thirdly, let's look at the labour market. So businesses need to invest in the skills of their people, but they also are short of people. So how can government use shortage occupation lists to turn on the taps for particular sectors where they really, really need it? And lastly, let's look at exports. So as businesses want to grow, they want to export. We need to get down to fixing the bits of the EU trade agreement that are still not working for our businesses.
That's an awful lot to get done. And in fact, many of those things have been talked about for a long time and they tend not to happen. How confident are you that this will be a budget that puts you on the right footing?
We're optimistic about that. I've worked with the now Prime Minister when he was Chancellor. He listens. He knows what is needed. We need him to step up now to the plate and put those things in place so we can get through a tough couple of years and be ready to power the economy at the other end.
Just for people listening who maybe have their own small business or just consumers, is your reading of it the same as the Bank of England, that there's going to be a prolonged but perhaps quite shallow recession? That you're saying 2 years' time we can get things moving again? Is it a worry that from now for the next 2 years it's going to be tough times?
Our forecast shows something very similar, which is why we need to ensure that remains a shallow recession, so something around flat growth for as short amount of time as possible. And government can do things to make sure that we are set up in the best place to see out the end of that.
Yeah, and so it's 2 years, and we hope to get through the end of it. Shevaun, good to speak to you. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
That's Shevaun Haviland there, the Director General of the British Chambers of Commerce.